Great crowd for a week one, great crowd for 3 Mile. Just pretty amazing to be in this new space. Yes. So we're here to celebrate the space, celebrate the culture of volunteerism here at 3 Mile. So I have a few things I'm going to say, and then a few people are going to talk a little bit about their part of this project. First, I want to thank 2 people who worked for the Appalachian Yacht Club, and I can't see. Where's Paul? Paul is Vice President of the Appalachian Yacht Club, in charge of all outdoor activities. He's been a huge supporter of 3 Mile for decades, and great to have him here for this occasion, great to have him here in general, and more importantly for me, great to have him when I need him on the phone and there's a problem. Roger. Right back in the middle. Roger Scholl was the person that was responsible for all of the outdoor facilities before he left for another job somewhere else, but he was the main AMC person responsible for all the work we did with AMC, getting the Rec Hall project going, getting the campaign going, getting the architects going, the engineers going, all of that. He was our contact person on a daily basis, weekly basis. And we absolutely could not have done this project without him, so thank you, Roger. And then there's a few other people here that I want to thank who were not directly involved, but were involved in helping the culture of volunteerism here for the past several decades. And those are the prior committee chairs. We have a lot of them here today. Judy Munn, where's Judy? Judy Munn was the chair when I was on the crew, and I actually, as a crew person, did a lot of work with her. She's
First chairwoman.
She's the first chairwoman, and I was about to get to that. We actually had all the chairwomen ever in the history of 3 Mile here in this room. And Judy was also responsible for hiring some really young managers who had never been to the island before. It was a very high-risk situation, but Dave and Nancy have worked out just fine. Bobby Hopkins was chair a few years after Judy, and under her reign, there lots of things changed here in terms of a long-term plan, and Dave and Nancy took a sabbatical, and there were some even younger managers that were brought in that did a great job. One of whom is here, Larry Barker. Over here. Glenn Rich, where's Glenn? Glenn Rich. I'm going to talk in a few minutes about the Rec Hall project, but he's also remained involved as a volunteer, doing all sorts of work on keeping us attuned to sustainability. And it's just great to have people who keep coming back and keep bringing their kids and their grandchildren back here, like Glenn and Rick Jader. Where's Rick? Right there. Rick got us into the modern era of using the website and with accounting, and he's been a great volunteer since then. He was in charge of the tree, keeping all the trees updated, the tree project updated for the past 5, 6, 7, 10 years. We appreciate that, and he's back. And Nancy Grant, who we'll talk later too, has been every type of volunteer here since arriving as manager, and she'll talk later on. She's also one of the 4 co-chairs of the capital campaign. She was the chair just before me. Did a phenomenal job setting everything up here for this Rec Hall project. She's basically the one who got it all going, and incredibly appreciative of her efforts. Just amazing. And there's 3 people here that are on the current committee and 2 that are coming on. Tracy Munn, who was on the crew with me, actually grew up with me here and has been doing a great job as first vice chair and chair of the management committee. So incredible to have her. Larry Barker, who's been mentioned before, has had every single job here, manager, off-season manager, and he's done an incredible job, and now he's given us his kids to do even better jobs. Keep us in line. Jesse? Oh, there he is. Jesse Rich, current vice chair, has been here in many capacities and has done a great job. He's also been in charge of the entire Appy refurbishing this past winter. And at the end of the program today, we'll be moving up to the dock for rechristening of the Appy. So thank you, Jesse. Two more people are coming on the committee. Miss Betsy Smith and Jane Gertica, where are you guys? Right there. Incredible spirit of volunteers in here. It's just absolutely amazing what goes on. It's just great. And these are just only a few of the leaders that are here and that do a lot of work for you. And now I'm going to ask if Glenn could come up, talk a little bit about the history of this building since he was here before it was here.
Have some notes. What a great day. Thank you for asking me to make some brief remarks about my memories of the old Rec Hall and the new Rec Hall. I used two sources. One was the 3 Mile Island Camp history, edited by Stroker McGovern. Stroker, wherever you are. The other book was 3 Mile Island, A Century of Memories, edited by Lee Fernsheim. So she's not here today, but great pictures in here. There's great pictures up in the card room if you want to see pictures of the old Rec Hall and the fire and some of the things I'll talk about. I also want to acknowledge that there's a lot of people in the room who also have a lot of memories from the old Rec Hall, the fire, and this will be a great weekend for all of you to share some of those memories. And I'll just share a couple. So, first Rec Hall was built in 1932, and it was right there. And the canoe house was built around the same time, and it was right here. An interesting footnote, the designer for the Rec Hall and the canoe house was Jack Trickey. For people who probably remember Jack. His great aunt, Earl Elder Manning, designed the Rec Hall and the canoe house. And I do happen to know one person who actually helped build the Rec Hall and the canoe house, and that was Luther Child. So we have 3 child twins today. Joy Bloomfield, Martha Ash, and Ditty. And of course, Ditty had a lot to do with the renovation and the new design and the rebuild of this place. So it's nice to see all those pieces come together. And it was great when I looked up on the crew of 1932, I could see, oh, there's Luther. So I thought I would just read a piece from the history. It's a little boring, I know, but the language in here, I'll be brief. You could bear with me. I'll just read a little piece. The original design of Rec Hall contained a large hall with a good floor for dancing at one end and dressing rooms and lockers at the other. A broad piazza, that would be a porch. I didn't know that, but that's what they called it back then, ran along the entire front of the building, and which furnished comfortable and a pleasant place to sit in big rockers, read a book, take a snooze, and it was a perfect vantage point from which to watch swimming, water sports, and of course the crew. I had that crew part in.